The Prime Minister on Thursday last attempted to, in his speech, to show to the nation 7 pathways to supposedly transformation journey for the country. A lot of bad and some really ugly measures. It's not an economic statement because it doesn't deal with issues of the economy. It is a communication exercise so that you can engineer claps in this house. But the real engineering or re-engineering of our economic sectors to face the challenges of the future are nowhere to be seen in this budget. It is what I believe to be a budget trompe-l'œil. Madam Speaker, I'll group my points in 7 clusters also, and I'll call these clusters 7 paths to nowhere. The first is the obvious economic decline of Mauritius under the present government team. Failure to address vital challenges faced by a number of our economic sectors, which makes this budget irresponsible. Some, in my view, misguided tax incentives have been given. Then I'm going to look at the excessive secrecy that is endangering our democracy today. This budget also, as I mentioned, has some harmful measures, a lot of half-baked measures, and finally, failure to improve vital public services. If you look at the figures in detail, there's something which will surprise you. VAT and customs duty increasing by 10% from one year to the next. Whether it's public investment, manufacturing, textiles, agriculture, quantity of fish exported, deficit on current account, savings rate, total export, all these, Madam Speaker, have deteriorated under this government. Economic storm clouds are on the way, and we've just completely ignored them, whether it's the sugar industry or the vital sectors, or whether it is the more complicated issue of the aging of the population. When I mentioned sugar, with this 50% fall in the price of sugar, this is irresponsible, Madam Speaker. The problem has been there at least 12 months and more. If you sit on your hands for 12 months as a government, in a sector as crucial, as vital as sugar, then there is no other way than to say that it is an irresponsible government. And now we're going to have a committee. And this budget, prepared by advisors on communication, doesn't deal with sugar. The only thing it says is going to import, the easiest thing, we'll put a tax on imported sugar. Another issue, Madam Speaker, completely ignored by this government. The fish processing industry. Here we're talking about 8,000 jobs. But I would have expected, Madam Speaker, a responsible Minister of Finance to deal with sugar, to deal with fish processing. There are 8,000 jobs involved. 20 billion rupees of exports. 20 billion rupees of exports. Not a word in the budget. There is real urgency, but total disregard of the real problems. I hope that you will come out casse sommeil, gouvernement pour casse sommeil, and that we can deal with this issue. Thirdly, Madam Speaker, I've got just 4 sectors I will look at, is textiles. Clearly, a censored industry, declining exports. It once employed 90,000 people, now not even 50,000 people employed. Exports have fallen by more than 3 billion rupees in 3 years. Major companies are delocalizing, they are leaving Mauritius. What are we doing? Sitting on our hands. Nothing in this budget. We are creating industrial parks for people who are leaving Mauritius. They don't need the industrial parks, they're leaving. Thank you very much, bye-bye. Do you know how much FDI came through last year in the whole manufacturing sector? 100 million rupees. Compared to nearly 1 billion rupees in 2014. Every single economic indicator is in the red. In tourism, Madam Speaker, I had the honor to serve many years. It was once a thriving industry. 2015, I was Minister of Tourism, 11% growth. 2016, 11% growth. Oops. 2017, crash. 5% growth. Not crashed enough? Well, it will crash more this year. 2.8% growth. stagnation in the tourism arrivals. Madam Speaker, therefore I've dealt with these 4 sectors which I think are facing real challenges and which have hardly been touched upon or not touched upon at all in the budget. I'm going to deal very quickly, Madam Speaker, with some of these misguided tax incentives. The really weird one is the tax incentive to invest in Africa. Madam Speaker, I'm going to come to a very important issue. This question of excessive secrecy nowadays, which I think is endangering our democracy. The big thing in common with all this secrecy is what? It involves billions of rupees of taxpayers' money, billions of rupees of loans, contracts given in an opaque manner, most of the time, as with Mangalore, given without any competition. The people of Mauritius are entitled to know what agreement has been made in its name. Full stop. I'm going to deal with some of the harmful measures that I think this government has taken. Firstly, so far as our poor fishermen are concerned. And the fishermen are rightly mad, Madam Speaker, at the announcement, and I fully support this anger, at this announcement that henceforth overseas fishing boats will be able to fish near shore, destroying, Madam Speaker, whatever fish is left and destroying the livelihood of these poor fishermen. I hope here that the Prime Minister will reverse, will not proceed with this measure. It is really very, very harmful. But what is even more harmful to our society is the sale of our citizenship, making us become foreigners in our own country. And, Madam Speaker, we can foresee a time when property in Mauritius, at least desirable property in Mauritius, will become too expensive for Mauritians. Half-baked measures, Madam Speaker, employment of youth. I don't agree that we should provide employees for free, because when you pay for something, you take care that it works. You take care that you have work for the person. You take care that you supervise the person. But the real issue, Madam Speaker, of why we have to put 1 million rupees is not the fault of XYZ, except for the fault of the Ministry of Education. The whole issue in Mauritius, I keep repeating it, hopefully someone will listen to me one day, is the tertiary education sector. A real disaster. And nothing, not a single word in the budget. I'm going to talk now on the last thing, was failure to improve public services. We keep recruiting more policemen, but we don't equip them. As far as health is concerned, medical negligence on the increase, deaths on the increase, disappearing babies, deterioration of equipment, continuing very, very poor service, total disregard for service quality. Sports, Madam Speaker, the sport malad, we know. Madam Speaker, I'll finish by saying that, again, that this is a mere communication exercise, this budget. I've shown, I think, that it hasn't dealt at all with the main issues faced by this country. No credible economic re-engineering plan. Has the economic miracle happened? Obviously not.